Hi love, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Veronica, and in today's video I am going to be sharing 7 things nobody tells you about being a wife. Now, I've been married for 2.5 years, and I want you to think about this like I'm your little sister. Is always going to tell you the truth, especially when nobody is saying it to you. So if this is your vibe, definitely grab your favorite snack or a cup of tea. Me, I am drinking my own water because you have to stay hydrated out in the street. So before I start this video, I just want to give a quick disclaimer and say that if you come for any of my makeup things, you're not a good friend, are you? Yo, because why would you be judging my makeup stuff, okay? You probably didn't even notice before, but now that I've made it obvious, fair. Backstory before we actually delve into this video. So when I first got married, or when we were preparing to get married, I felt like having a conversation with my mom. At this time I was back in Nigeria just to like, you know, make sure I was ready and stuff like that. So I remember that we were going to we had like an occasion to attend. We had like an event to attend. This was like festive period back in Nigeria, and like, you know, there's an occasion every single day. So it was my mom, it was us, me, my mom, and then one of our family friends that was in the car. We were having conversations about, like, you know, just giving me marital advice, preparing me for marriage, asking me if I was ready, just telling me stuff, right? And then I told my mom, like, Mom, I love you, but when I get married, I don't want you to just start saying, you know, I don't want you to start rushing fruit of the womb, if you know what I'm saying. Like, when you're praying, you know, this is where I want your prayers to be more directed, la 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 la. My mom couldn't believe it. For the life of God, she must have been like, oh my dear God, what has this world and this generation gotten into? But that's just an example of what nobody tells you about being a wife. Nobody tells you that it is okay to not get married and start having babies immediately. Nobody tells you that it's okay if you want to wait a couple of years before you want to start giving birth to children. Nobody tells you that. Everybody just wants you to get into marriage and start giving birth to children, and then they begin to hit you with things like, you know, the woman's biological clock, okay, na gafekwa, time is passing, etc etc. So that is me and a little bit of a backstory, and this whole series is inspired by little sister big sister advice, you know, because sometimes like you really want to hear something from a non-biased POV, and sometimes the only people that can give you that non-biased POV are your little sisters. You know, little sisters don't give 2 F's. Little sisters are very like, they see the truth from a mile away, and they will tell you, right? And it's up to you to take it or not take it. So here I am about to give my unsolicited advice, unsolicited opinions, and just like, you know, what I feel like more women who are aspiring to get married should know, should hear before getting married. So the number one thing I feel like nobody tells women about being wives is to set clear intentions about the identity they are bringing into marriage, period. Let's talk about this shade match though. This shade match is matching. I wish more people were more clear and more vocal about telling wives to find their identity as wives before they actually become mothers. It's both. Do you see this shade match? Do you see the shade match? I'm saying this stuff very sensitively because I know that everybody's situation is different. But imagine it was more of a conversation where you had more women telling women that, you know, you don't need to rush into childbirth. You know, I know that biological clock is everything, but you know, before you become a mom, this is like some of the things that I want you to take note of. I want you to be aware of some of these things before you actually become a mom, and not actually just become a mom because that is what you feel like you need to do. It's granted that a lot of people feel ready immediately, but there's a lot of people that don't feel ready. So yeah, I wish more people were more clear. I wish more people told us this. I wish there was more conversation around this for women that aspire to be moms or wives one day. Okay, so number two on my list is understanding your purpose as a woman and a wife, and understanding your husband's purpose as a husband and a man. This is actually going to be another topic on its own, but when you understand your purpose as a woman and the purpose of your husband as a man, and then you understand your purpose as a wife and then his purpose as a husband, there will be a lot less conflict, because you understand that the both of you are now actually working towards the same things. You both have your different strengths, you both have your different weaknesses, but the point of marriage is to be able to thrive in your strengths and your weaknesses. So understanding your purpose as a woman and as a wife gives you confidence to actually take on this new role as somebody's wife, somebody's helper seamlessly, because that way you're able to see your husband and even see yourself through the lens of God, creator, the person that created and designed this spiritual jacket of marriage. That way you guys have more synergy. I'll give you an example. So when I got married, I just knew that I am not doing that 9 to 5 life. I just felt like a strong call and a strong pull towards entrepreneurship, just becoming an entrepreneur, doing my own thing, starting my own thing. My husband also has the same drive, the same entrepreneurial spirit, probably even a lot more than me. But because I was being very selfish, I want to say, in the beginning, I started to start all my things first. So my husband, being the kind man that he is, decided to take a step back and just like, let me shine and do my thing. And then at some point I started spending more time with God and realized, like, part of my mission in this life is to actually help my husband with his thing. And I'm like, bro, so if I'm helping him, does that mean my own thing suffers? So that was like what I was thinking in my mind. I'm like, I don't want a situation where one person is growing and the other person isn't growing. But quickly, God just showed me that when you actually care for somebody else's thing, when he gives you your own thing, you know how to take care of it. Simple and short. This one is crazy because it's all about managing your expectations in marriage. Manage your expectations, manage it, because it's not every day your jollof rice will be on point. Some days your jollof rice will burn, some days your jollof rice will be soggy, some days your jollof rice will not be enough. It's just being able to understand that these things happen, and I feel like the most important part of it is like just not allowing yourself to stay in those moments of these things happening and just finding a way to move past it. So managing your expectations would really help to combat feelings of inadequacy. Understanding that every day you cannot look like this every day. Some days you wake up and then there's spit all over your mouth. Even though I'm judging you, you have spit all over your mouth when you wake up. Why you drooling like that? Anyway, just understanding that some days you're going to be like on your A game and some days you're actually going to be on your C game. So understanding that it's okay, that there's room for error and there's room for growth, because by special grace of God, we don't get married to not stay married. We get married with the intention of living out our lives forever, for a very long time. Like, you can literally learn. Listen, you don't have to come into marriage with the idea of I have to be perfect, because honestly, what is perfect anyway? You need to be able to redefine your identity as a wife, as a woman, and decide who you're bringing to the table in this marriage. Manage your expectations and just give grace. Know that some days will be good days and some days will be not so great days. I'm using my Kiko lipstick as a blush. I feel like this blush might be a little too loud, but I'll use it as a blush first, and just like any excess I'm just going to put it here. That's a blush first, and then dilute it as I go down, because this look is very much heavily like blush centered. One of my favorite points is learning how to maintain your feminine energy in marriage. I know, like, when we talk about femininity, there's like, oh my gosh, you don't want to hear the conversations I've heard around femininity. I think the notion and the idea that every feminine woman looks the same, talks the same, dresses the same is BS, okay? Because there are feminine women who do not look anything like feminine women. Femininity has a lot to do with inward appearance over outward appearance. How do you handle conversations? How do you speak to people that you're not really a fan of? and like just choosing your words well and just using your femininity to douse arguments and conversations that are not very, very pleasant. It's that verse in the Bible that I talk about words spoken gently being able to drive away anger. You don't have to always live from a place where you feel like you have to fight for something. If that makes sense, because I believe that femininity and confidence go hand in hand. Keep your feminine essence alive in your relationship, in your marriage, because it's so easy to neglect self-care when you have a lot more responsibilities, a lot more things on your plate, a lot more things to handle. So you know, when we begin to let some of these things go, it begins to actually affect our confidence and even the way we see ourselves and speak to our partners. I'm going to be creating more videos about femininity. Fun fact, you guys, I wanted to do my makeup by myself on my wedding day, and everybody in my household said no. In fact, my sister went on to she went on to book like a backup makeup artist for me, and I was just like, man, you guys are actually so dramatic. Finish my makeup and then I'll come back. And if you're enjoying this conversation so far and you haven't subscribed to my channel, or you haven't liked this video, or you haven't commented to tell me what you think, why? I thought we're having fun now. I thought we're friends. Can you please do the needful before you actually continue the video? Sometimes as women, we go into marriages, relationships, or just situations and think like, listen, I'm here to fix your life all the way together. Even though that can be true in some cases, in some other cases it's not true. Hubby has been the way he's been since birth. So sometimes some of these habits are even new, and you just want to waltz in 1 year, 6 days, 6 months and change it. I mean, sometimes this change can happen, but you don't need to force the change, is what I'm saying. This one is a little bit of a hot take, so let me just drink water because I'm a little bit thirsty. Honor the dynamic of your relationship. Don't go comparing and contrasting, okay? Figure out like what is working in your relationship and what you would like to see happen in your relationship, and work towards it, okay? Honestly, focus on growth of self, growth of spouse, growth as a unit. So you're growing individually, your spouse is growing, your family and your household is growing. With these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to start a conversation that we don't typically hear as women, young women going into marriage. So if you're a wife already and any of these points resonate or don't resonate, let me know in the comments below. I really want to know how long you've been married for, and if you've used any of these things, or if you feel like any of these things would work or would not work, let me know in the comments. And if you're a lady, if you're a baby girl, if you're a woman in your I am intentionally dating, I'm in my intentional dating era, use this time and the energy around you to focus on what you actually bring to the table, not just in the context of a relationship, but in the context of everything: career, finance, everywhere you go. Use the opportunity to figure out what you actually bring to the table, so that when you go into marriage, because marriage is like an exam that you have to keep studying and passing, okay? You have to keep making an effort to study and pass. So when you go into your own matrimonial home, everything you have learned and nurtured as a single babe, bring it into your marriage to improve the health and the dynamic of your relationship. Thank you so much for listening to me talk for so long. I really hope you enjoyed this video. And girl, if you're still watching this video and you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, why? Like, for the mere fact that you know that I don't typically like to do this kind of thing, but I've come out here to share and spill my heart to you, and you still ain't gonna subscribe to my YouTube. Why? Can you subscribe, okay?